General Hospital shocker, the fireworks that masked a mother's nightmare. Did Willow steal Daisy to fill a devastating void? **** The glittering cascade of fireworks lighting the Port Charles sky on July 4th should have been a celebration of freedom, love, and family. But beneath the patriotic sparkle, a sinister silence took hold, the eerie kind that falls when something unspeakable has occurred. In the shadows of the Quartermain estate, a newborn's crib lay empty. Sasha Gilmore Corbin's infant daughter, Daisy Corinthos Gilmore, vanished without a sound. No broken window, no trace of intrusion, just an overturned blanket and the kind of heart-stopping stillness that haunts a mother's soul. For Sasha, who had already endured unspeakable trauma with the loss of her first child Liam Mike, the discovery shattered her fragile sense of stability. She had rebuilt slowly, painfully, and with trembling hope after years of emotional turmoil. But this disappearance, this cruel twist of fate, was like being thrown back into the void she had just escaped. The fact that it happened inside the supposedly safe walls of the Quartermain mansion only intensified the surreal horror of it all. But the real twist, the one no one dared to voice aloud in those initial chaotic hours, was the creeping suspicion that the person responsible may not be a stranger at all. Willow's descent into the darkness **** in the days leading up to the abduction, Port Charles had been abuzz with chatter surrounding Willow Corinthos. Once the picture of quiet grace and maternal devotion, Willow had begun to fracture beneath the surface. After a grueling custody battle with Michael Corinthos, her ex-husband and the father of her children, she found herself on the losing end of a war she had no chance of winning. The final blow came when the courts granted Sasha full custody of Daisy. Though Daisy wasn't biologically Willow's, the emotional ties ran deep, tangled in guilt, longing, and the haunting memories of the children she had lost. That loss cracked something within Willow. Friends began to notice the subtle shifts first, the unsteady hands, the sudden absences, the obsessive way she lingered near Sasha and Daisy. But no one was prepared for what would happen next. Or for the possibility that Willow's grief had twisted into something unrecognizable. A crime of grief, or a calculated retaliation, **** on the surface, Willow had every reason to hold her composure. She was engaged to Drew Quartermain, a powerful, respected man, and was finally free from the chaos that had once defined her relationship with Michael. But beneath that polished veneer, Willow harbored a volcano of resentment. To her, Sasha was the ultimate betrayal. Once a friend, now the woman raising the child she believed should have been hers. Some speculate Willow's involvement in Daisy's disappearance wasn't spontaneous. That it had been building, one bitter memory at a time, from the moment Sasha moved into the Quartermain estate with Michael. A series of calculated visits. Unexplained items moved in Daisy's nursery. A shadow caught on the baby monitor but dismissed as a glitch. No one wanted to believe that Willow, the once angelic schoolteacher, could be capable of such a thing. But no one had truly seen what was brewing behind her hollow eyes. Sasha's spiral, haunted by loss, drowning in doubt ***. For Sasha, the trauma was twofold. Not only had she lost her child, but she also began to doubt her own sanity. Already vulnerable from postpartum anxiety, the stress of motherhood, and residual grief over Liam Mike, the disappearance of Daisy sent Sasha into a psychological tailspin. Her memories of the night were fractured, distorted by exhaustion and an inexplicable sense of dread she couldn't shake even before the fireworks began. She remembered Willow visiting her earlier that day. A conversation that seemed pleasant at the time, but now felt oddly rehearsed. She remembered Willow's long gaze into Daisy's crib. The way her voice caught when she said, "She looks just like how I imagined my little girl would have looked." At the time, Sasha had smiled politely, chalking it up to maternal wistfulness. But now those words echoed with eerie clarity, like the toll of a bell before a storm. As hours turned into days and search efforts turned up nothing, Sasha's mind buckled under the pressure. Whispers began to circulate. Some said she was hallucinating again, relapsing into the paranoia that had plagued her after Liam's death. Others, more cynical, suggested she was creating drama to gain sympathy. Or worse, orchestrating the disappearance herself in a dissociative break. The cruelty of such accusations only worsened her decline. But Sasha had one lingering suspicion she couldn't shake. What if Willow took Daisy to punish Michael, and to punish me? A web of lies and the ghosts of Ferncliff ***. The more Sasha pressed for answers, the more resistance she faced. Drew remained suspiciously quiet, offering only vague condolences while discouraging further speculation. Michael, caught between love for Sasha and a deeply embedded loyalty to Willow, was increasingly conflicted. Carly Spencer and Nina Reeves, once rivals but now begrudgingly aligned, began digging in secret. If Willow was behind Daisy's disappearance, then someone had to uncover the truth before it was too late. But as the investigation quietly intensified, Willow became more elusive. She took sudden trips without explanation. She changed her phone number. She broke off contact with several close friends and began talking about starting over far away from Port Charles. And when questioned directly about the night Daisy went missing, her responses were mechanical, emotionless, as if she had rehearsed them. What no one realized, however, was that Willow's spiral may have started long before the fireworks ever lit the sky. Whispers about her time in therapy had begun circulating again. Particularly around her old ties to Ferncliff, where she'd once been treated for severe depression and psychosis following the loss of her child with Shiloh. Could her demons have returned, more vicious than ever? And if so, was Daisy just the beginning? The town divided, sympathy, suspicion, and a coming storm ***. Port Charles is no stranger to scandal, but this one is different. This is not a mob hit or corporate betrayal. This is a story that strikes at the very core of what it means to be a mother. On one side are those who believe Sasha is unraveling and projecting her fears onto an innocent woman. On the other are those who believe Willow is not as innocent as she appears, that grief has given way to madness, and that Daisy's life may hang in the balance. As the days pass without answers, tension simmers throughout the town. Curtis Ashford has offered resources from his private security firm to track down any leads. Dante Falconeri has reopened the case under the radar. And Sam McCall, following a hunch, has started tracing Willow's old contacts from Ferncliff. Every trail leads to more questions. Every theory opens a new door to horror. Even the Quartermain family, long used to controlling narratives, finds themselves helpless in the face of such a delicate, devastating situation. Brooke Lynn is furious. Ned is quietly suspicious. And Tracy, always the pragmatist, wants to know why the nursery security cameras stopped working exactly 10 minutes before the baby vanished. Endgame, the mask begins to slip ***. The boiling point is coming. Sasha, now on the verge of a full psychological collapse, has made a bold choice. She will confront Willow directly. Armed with a hidden recorder and a heart full of desperation, she plans to get the truth, whatever the cost. But will she be able to stay composed long enough to outwit a woman who may be deeper in denial, or deception, than anyone could have predicted? Meanwhile, a chilling clue emerges from the most unexpected place, a social media post from a woman in Rochester, New York, claiming she saw a frazzled blonde woman boarding a bus with an infant who didn't seem to belong to her. The timestamps match July 5th. The woman's description eerily fits Willow. The authorities are mobilizing. So are Michael, Carly, and Nina, each for their own reasons. And as Sasha braces herself for a confrontation that could either save her daughter or condemn her forever, one thing becomes increasingly clear: the fireworks were just the beginning. The real explosion is still to come ***.